Okay, today on Herminator's math channel, Extended Algebra 3.11 Part 2, we did Part 1 yesterday. You're not going to learn anything new, okay? The point of it is to understand what to do in what situation, because all these problems are two different x's with two different coefficient numbers. Okay, like here -4 and +6, here -4 and 2. Now, how to handle the two x values depends on what side of the equals they're on. If they're on the same side, which they are, same side, you connect them and write the word add or plus or whatever, okay? Because you can add those. You write x down, then you add -4 and 6, that's 2. Okay, you also have a +2. Now you make your wall and find your operators to x. So times 2 plus 2. So we got to take out the +2. We'd go backwards 2. So 2 times x. 24 minus 2 is 12. Then we have times we need to divide. We'll be dividing at the end on all of them. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. X equals 6. Okay, pretty easy. Now, this time they're on opposite sides, okay? So we cannot add them if they are across the equals. Pick one of them. It doesn't matter which one. I'll pick this one. How do you get a -4 to 0? Well, you go 4 forward. You add 4x. So use that arrow. If they're on opposite sides, use an arrow and write to 0, okay? I mean, you don't have to write it, but that's what I'm going to do. Then I go to the other side and add 4x. So on this side I'm going to have 5. Remember, it doesn't matter which x you take to 0. You could do the 2x, you get the same answer. So I got x with 6 plus 11. Okay, so we got times 6 plus 11. You got to take out the +11. So we have 6 times x. 5 minus 11 is -6. Now you got to do the opposite of times, which is divide by 6. By 6. So -6 divided by 6 is -1, so x equals -1, or -1 equals x, doesn't matter. Okay, here's an equals. Looks like they're on the same side of the equals, same side, so we're back to drawing the v, okay? So you're at -33, you're going to write x down, add -17 to 20, that's 3, okay? And then you have +3. So now we simplified it so that there's only a single x instead of double x's. Okay. Sometimes there's triple. I'll maybe look at a problem later. It won't be today. Okay, get your +3 to 0 by minusing 3. So 3 times x is going to equal -36. Okay. Then solving for times means divide. -36 divided by 3 is -12. Okay. Alright, my next problem. Look at your x's. Look on opposite sides to me. Okay, opposite sides. So, that means you got to mark one of them with an arrow. It doesn't matter which one. I'll go with the 3 this time. Remember, it's +3. How do you take a +3 to 0? Well, you minus 3x. Then you go to the other side and minus 3x with your -2. So -2 backwards 3 would be -5x, okay? And then -5. And then we just have 20 over there. If it's +20, you don't need to write +20, just 20 is good enough. Okay, so we got times, highlight that. I'm not a fan of minus, make it plus negative, okay? Because you're taking -5 to 0, you would add 5. 20 plus 5 is 25, so -5 times x equals 25. We have divide, with times we divide. One thing a lot of people are doing in Algebra 1 right now, if they have a negative, they think they have to add it. No, you don't add multiplying numbers, okay? When you have multiplying numbers, you're dividing, okay? By -5. So 25 divided by -5 is -5, incidentally. Okay, next problem. It really doesn't take too long. Okay, so again, all these problems have double x's. They're on opposite sides here, opposite sides. So again, you mark one of them with an arrow. It doesn't matter the one. We'll go with 2. I get that to 0. Okay. So to get from 2 to 0, you'd have to minus 2 with the x. And we minus 2x from 4x. So you got 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then plus 16. Okay, so 2 times x plus 16. You got to get your 16 to 0. Now, once you're to that step, you can't just pick what number to get to 0. It's got to be the one on the x side. 2 minus 16 is negative 14, and we have 2 times x. Okay. Then times, I'm going to divide by 2. And now I'll know what x equals. Negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Okay, next problem. Now the x's are on the same side. So same side, I connect them and write the word plus or add. Okay, it doesn't matter. So I write x down, 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay. Remember, if it's got a minus in front of it, it's a negative. You make it a plus negative. We do have this minus 2. So I got times 6, and I will be making that plus negative. So I'm getting from negative 2 to 0. I would add 2. So 24. Then I divide by 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. Okay, next problem. 7x plus 1 equals 9x plus 11. They're on opposite sides, so I mark one of them. It doesn't matter which one. Somebody asked yesterday, how do you know which one? It doesn't matter if they're on opposite sides. I mean, I'll mark the 9x. To get a positive 9 to 0, we'd minus 9x. Then we'd minus 9x from 7x. 7 minus 9 is negative 2, and then plus 1. We have 11 over there. Okay, so you got times 2 plus 1. Okay, so I know I'm taking out the plus 1, positive 1, by minusing it to 10. Okay, then I have times I need to divide. 10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5. Okay, last one. Okay, 3x minus 4x plus 3 equals 40. Now they're back to being on the same side of the equals of the equation. So same side, v, okay? Right there, be careful with your v. These are the x's, okay? That doesn't have an x. So when I add, I plus, I'm not adding 3 and 4. I'm adding 3 and negative 4. So it's going to be negative 1x. And then we have the plus 3, because that's not multiplied by x. We get times and plus 3. So we take plus 3 out by minusing 3. Gets me 37. Okay, times, you're going to divide, okay, by negative 1. 37 divided by negative 1 is negative 37, okay. Alright, pause the video. You need to pause me right now and do the 8 problems on the back. Okay, pause me, okay, and then I'll come back. Show you how to do the other one. Okay, first off, excuse me, I gotta run out to my car real quick. Okay, sorry about that. The reason I had to run out to my car because I actually had to get the packet, okay? This is a new type of story problem, okay? It's actually pretty slick if you set everything up right, okay? Cross those out. I don't want you using those, okay? I currently have $400. I'm adding money to my account at a rate of $10 per week. My friend has $550 and is adding money at a rate of $5 per week. How many weeks will we have equal amounts of money? This is different. You haven't done one like this before. So you got dollars and weeks. time's the X, and the money's the Y. So per. Dollars per week. I want you to circle the dollar amounts that say per week. Not 400, 10, not 550, but $5 per week. Now, unlike yesterday's, our assignment 2 days ago, we're not going to add them because it's two different people, okay? You're going to put 10 times X, and then below it, you're going to put 5 times X. And then, instead of making one table, you're going to make 2 of them, okay? Just hold on here. So XY, XY. So dollars is Y, so both your Y's label with dollars. Weeks is X, so weeks, weeks. Then do your 0, 1, 2 like you always do, okay? Now let's talk about the $10 per week. Look at what came before the $10 per week, $400. Then you start adding 10, plus 10. So 410, 420, and that goes on. Okay, we're not going to put a closing number on these, okay? All right, now let's talk about the 5. What amount comes before, and also cross out 410 once that's done. 410, cross them out. Okay, you got $5 per week. 550 is what came before it, okay? So now I start adding 5. Then add 5, 560. Now what we want to find out is when this how many weeks it takes for this one to catch up with this one. Right now it's a long ways off, but it will eventually catch up because you're adding 10 every time over here. You're adding 5 over there. It would take a long time, but they would eventually catch up. So how do we find that quickly? Well, we're going to make 2 lines. We're going to put equals Y equals Y. Then let's look at the first table. You got 400, and the number we're adding is 10 times X. Now over here you got 550, and the number I'm adding is 5 times X, because it's every single week. Every time the X increases by 1, that goes here. Now, how do we write the equation? You are going to scribble out, you're going to cross out your Y's. You're not going to use Y. On one side, you're going to put 400 plus 10 times X. On the other side, you're going to put 550 plus 5 times X, because you want to find out when this will equal this. Now, you got X's, opposite sides. Pick one of them. I don't care which one. Let's go. I would actually, on a story problem, I'd go with the smaller one. Okay, I would take out the smaller one. So I'd minus 5X. Then I minus 5X from the 10X. So I put X down first, 10 minus 5 is 5, and then add the 400 that's over there. Then you got 550. Now you solve it, okay? So times and plus. So take out your 400 by minusing 400. And that's going to be 150. You got times, you're going to divide them, okay? Divide by 5, divide by 5. X is 30, okay? 30 weeks. So that would have taken forever to label that weeks all the way to 30 to get them equal. So that's why the equation works the way that it does. Okay, next one. Mike is currently bench pressing 315 pounds. He's bulking up and wants to increase his bench by 5 pounds each. Cross out each, put per, please. Okay. Each means per. Chad currently bench presses 380 pounds, but is cutting weight. His bench press will be decreased. Actually, hold on. I'm going to come back to this problem. Okay. I'm going to come back to this problem. Actually, no, I'm not. I'll do it. Okay. Okay, after how many weeks will the two boys be benching equal amounts of weight? So again, you got dollars and you got weeks. Okay. So weeks is X, dollars is Y. So per, dollars per week. Or no, dollars, pounds. Okay. God darn it. Sorry, I'm struggling here. Weeks and pounds. Dollars isn't in here. So again, X is the time, Y is the pounds. So per, pounds per week. All right, this guy here, 5 pounds per week. Okay, so I circle that. And this guy here, I see 5 pounds per week. Now they're two different people, so we're going to put 5 times x and then 5 times x. Now here's the deal. The second 5 is going to be negative 5 times x because he's decreasing by 5 pounds per week. Increasing is positive 5, but decreasing is negative 5. So it'll be a negative 5 times x. Okay, now we set up two tables. X, Y. So x is weeks. Y is pounds. X is weeks, Y is pounds. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Okay, let's talk about the first 5. What did we have before the first 5? We had 315 pounds. Then we start adding positive 5. So that goes up to 320. That goes up to 325. Okay, now let's go in the problem, cross out the 315 and the 5. Okay. Now, let's look at the starting amount here. Before that 5 pounds per week, we see 380 pounds. Then we add negative 5 because his bench is going down because he's cutting weight. Okay, you get weaker when you cut weight. So when I add negative 5, that's 375. Add negative 5, that's 370. Now, he still has more pounds than him, but if he keeps going down by 5 and he keeps going up by 5, eventually they catch up. Okay, so double line that, double lines. Okay, so you put equals y up top, both of them, and you put 315 plus 5 times x. Then you put 380 plus negative 5 times x. Now you take out your y's, you don't need those on a double liner, you don't need your y's. You just, on one side of the equals, you put 315 plus 5 times x. On the other side, you put 380 plus negative 5 times x. Okay, you got, again, x is on opposite sides, so pick one to take out. It doesn't matter which one. Let's go with the negative 5. So take a negative 5 to 0, you plus 5x. Okay, because 5 times x, 5x, it means the same thing. Then I add 5x to the 5x over there. So that's going to be 10x plus 315 equals 380. So we have 10 times x plus 315. We've got to take out the 315. Okay, 10 times x, 380 minus 315, 75. Okay, or no, 65. I'm sorry, 65. Then divide by 10, divide by 10. You get a decimal, that's fine. It'd be 6.5. You can have 6.5 weeks. Okay, just put it. All right, last problem here today. At a golf course, you can be a member or a non-member. If you're a member, you pay a $30 membership plus $3 per round of golf. Non-members pay no membership but pay $5 per round of golf. How many rounds of golf will the cost for a member and non-member be equal? Okay, so again, rounds down there, rounds in dollars. Now, you don't have a time unit, but X cannot be the money, okay? So X has to be rounds, Y is money. So per, dollars per round. Let's go highlight what's a dollars per round. It ain't 30, okay? 3 rounds, so 3 times X, and then later on $5 per round. Now, you're either a member or you're a non-member. You're not going to pay for both of them, so it's either or, so you keep them separate. Okay, make your tables, X, Y, X, Y, and you're going to also make that box. And that. Okay, so Y is dollars, X is rounds. So 0 to 1 to 2, 0 to 1 to 2. Let's talk about our 3. What did we have before the 3? You had $30. Then start adding 3. Start adding 3. 33, 36. Okay. Now, after that table, after you're done there, cross out the 30 and the 3. You're done with that. Done that with the table. Now the 5, I don't see a number before that, so you started at 0. And then plus 5x, or plus 5, I should say. So that's 5. Plus 5 is 10. Now, he's a ways ahead of him as far as dollars, but if he's only adding 3 and he's adding 5, eventually he'll catch him and overtake him. So 2 lines. Okay, first line 30 plus 3 times x. Second line 0, I'm adding 5 times x. Take out your y's, okay? So on one side you're going to have 30 plus 3 times x. Now on the other one I want you to put the 0, okay? Now pick one of the x's, it doesn't matter, we'll pick the 3, okay? I usually pick the smaller one in the story problem, okay? So I had minus 3x and then minus 3x from 5. So you got 30. Now if you have 0 at this point, don't write it down. You got x, 5 minus 3 is 2, okay? If you have 0, just leave it out, okay? You don't put it. So you just have the times, so you divide by 2. So 30 divided by 2 is 15. 15 rounds. Okay, now real quick. Number 1, you got 25 times x and 30 times x are both positives, okay? No negatives to worry about. Number 2, you've got 40 times x, 50 times x. Those are both positives, because I know that negative is going to throw some people off. Number 3, you got 4 times x and 12 times x. Here, I'm going to set that up, okay? So gallons and minutes, because this one you have to worry about negatives. So per, gallons per minute. So I see 4 gallons per minute. That's positive because it's filling, so it would get higher, the amount of water in the pool, okay? But this one's draining 12 gallons per minute, so that needs to be a negative 12 times x. That's the only negative you're going to have, okay? So